Boom shakalaka. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Spirituality Gone Wild. I am Debbie G. It is such a good, happy Friday. Is it really Friday? Wow. It's amazing that it's already Friday. Huh. Well, you know what time it is? It's time for Cuppa Grata. And that is a glorious time with a shot of expression and 2 squirts of reality. And I have a co-squirt today. I love this co-squirt. I love this co-squirt for many reasons. One, because we were in TYA Bootcamp. I hope you all got that just now. Jiminy Crickets. So this young lady, Nicole Henry, comes all the way here from New Jersey. She's a Reiki Master. She is a single mom. She's a rock star. She's like the superwoman type. Okay, guys, that's what she is. And we just noticed that like we have the same like taste in decor, which is always a beautiful thing, right? But really, this conversation today, are you down in the dumps? Does your life suck? Are you not happy? Has COVID got you down? Well, stay tuned because this is where you need to be. Because that's just not what you want to be. Down the spiral is not it. Detuning that stuff and taking yourself back up to joy, love, and of course, my favorite, gratitude is the space that you need to be in. Period. And yes, I did say that you need to be in. Though if you don't want to be in it, you don't have to be in it. And that's really okay with all of us too. Well, of course it is, because it doesn't really matter. Without further ado, Nicole Henry.
Hi.
Good morning. Oh
Good
my God.
morning.
Welcome to Cuppa Grata and
Yes,
Spirituality Gone Wild.
I have my sassy cup of water, or glass, I should say. But yeah, I drink water out of sassy glasses.
Okay, I love this. And tell me why that you drink water out of sassy glasses.
Okay, so I started doing it after TYA because I was like, my whole thing about 2020 was leveling up on any way that I could. So just nicer things that make me feel really good about myself. And, you know, when you go out to dinner, you can usually have those glasses available, but then there was the shutdown. So it was like, let me just bring all that stuff to me, fill my house with flowers, all that.
Oh, you're a rock star. Okay, so this is adorable. You guys, listen. Here, you're already getting a tool and a trick of the trade from Nicole here. That is, go get yourself some sassy glasses, as she says, and create the environment and the experience that you're wanting to have. Remember, we said if COVID's got you down, we're going to give you some tools and tricks to bring it right back up. Because staying down there and manifesting from a place of muck and yuck is going to get you what?
Mm, yeah. I don't like when I manifest from fear, and it's happened and it's okay. I learn from it. But when I'm manifesting from a place of trust and joy, I'm just having way more fun with it. And it's, you know, the detuning process, like you had talked about. I started my spiritual journey in 2004. So I have like that ability to look within. And I used to get so mad, like, oh, I got to do more work. But then I'm like, yay, let's get busy with creating what I do want and feel really good about it.
God, I love this.
Mm.
I love this. Okay, so when you first started TYA, though, you're one of my favorite stories that have came out of TYA Bootcamp. And you guys, seriously, today she's a fellow boot camper. We've got boot campers on right now with us. Good morning. I see you. We are definitely going to be doing some plugs for TYA Bootcamp, okay? Because if you haven't heard of that, that's David Strickle's program. You can go to thestreamofdavid.com, schedule a meeting with David. Tell him Debbie sent you. Okay, get yourself an extra session with David. But let's just talk about Nicole.
Yes.
You started TYA, and you and I have a lot of similar stories. Uh, this is what I love about it, because we are here to show you guys all that you can do it differently. So when you first started TYA, what was your life like at that moment?
Mm. Well, I'll go back to one time that I called David because I had scheduled a call with him before and I really wanted to get in and I just couldn't make it align. And then I called him again and I was in my car and I was crying and I had my daughter's father in the house and that was all chaos. And he was like, basically, you got to get yourself together and just feel the vibe of being in boot camp and what you really want to get out of it. So it took a few more months. And when I had started boot camp, I just moved in with a coworker. I had to get rid of everything in my house. We were financially rock bottom, emotionally, and he and I had separated. And so it's like I was super vulnerable because I'm living with someone that I work with, and I don't want them to know everything about me, but now they're going to, because they were just so kind and generous with welcoming me and my daughter in. And what I wanted to get out of boot camp was like just less crazy. And, you know, I knew I was creating the chaos in my life, and I was trying to find a way to make it stop. I had been in 2 back-to-back toxic relationships. I'm the common denominator. So for me, for boot camp, it was like, I am willing to take a look at all of my junk, make peace with it, and learn some tools. And that's what happened. I hit the ground running with it.
Okay, I'm loving this. So let's just go. So what I'm hearing you say right here is that when you started TYA, that you were going through a separation at this point. My heart's with you. I remember being young and my children being young. It's like, it's so hard. I remember being a single mom, how scary it was. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yes, I would. Yeah, I do. It's like my heart just now is just like so with you. I remember that feeling of, and I know what it was like to just be there. And for you to reach out to David and do that is like huge kudos, because I know how scary it is. I mean, shit, just taking on life as a single parent is probably one of the hardest, biggest decisions that we can make. But when you have to, because you are so scared that you're going to put your children into something that is going to just be even worse, we do whatever it takes. So kudos, Superwoman Mama. Kudos.
Thank you.
Now, I also heard you say that you're owning the responsibility for being the common denominator in the toxic relationships. And I want everybody to grasp a hold of this right now. She's not in victim mode. Do you hear this? Now, what do you think the difference is right now? How do you think you probably worded it 2 years ago?
It's a great question. 2 years ago, it would have been like, I'm sick of his stuff. I need better for myself. It would have been all about him and what he was doing to me, and nothing about my stuff. So, and how does this always happen to me? And I'm such an idiot. I mean, I am really good. And that, excuse me, is one of the things that Ty helped me with, was not speaking so negatively about myself, because I'm really good at tearing myself down. So, and then just knowing that, you know, other people aren't always to blame. You know, I mean, we're constantly reacting to each other's energy. So that's just how it played out.
Oh my God, I love you right now. I hope everybody, I'm appreciating your vulnerability. Because look, this is real, you guys. She was so down the spiral a couple years ago. Like I'm right there with you. We were in victim syndrome. We were pretty certain the whole world was doing this to us, and we couldn't understand why why do you hate me, God? I don't understand. You know, right?
Yes.
Remember those days? God,
Oh,
those days of, I mean,
the ugly cry.
Oh, the ugly cry. Oh, the ugly cry is like, no, that's the ugly cry is the worst. That's the one that lasts for like 24 hours. And the next day you've got so much puff and you're like holding ice cubes going, oh my God, what did I, and the thing is that let's just sit for a minute and appreciate that beautiful person inside of you that just wanted to be, you had needs that weren't being met. You didn't know how to ask for them to be met. Let's just appreciate that beautiful person that was just trying to survive, trying to survive. And that's, so if anybody out there feels like, well, you're not sure about this and you're getting a little rubbed raw by how blunt we're being about the fact if someone might be in victim syndrome, I just want to encourage you to, let's just take a minute and appreciate where anyone's at, where you were at, where I was at, that is a beautiful human moment. of
Mhm.
needs of our precious human needs never being met. Okay?
Mhm.
Period. So what shifted? What was that shift? How did you start practicing better self-talk? Because you said that was a really big thing for you.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a culmination. This process for me started, like I said, in 2004. Even back earlier, because I started therapy when I was 14, and then I went to college and took, psychology to try to figure out my dad's drug addiction issues, and then I got my master's in counseling psychology. So, like, I had the knowledge, and I would do life coaching, which I'm definitely a fan of, and so it was like little nuggets of time, that pockets of time, that I would do the positive self talk and the affirmations and the pat on the back. But what I learned along the way was it was from a place of ego, so it was not lasting that long. So
Can you
yeah,
explain that? Can you explain that to people? What does that mean? What are you talking about? That was from ego. What do you mean? What do you mean?
yeah, it was huge for me. When I'm from a place of ego, it's just like that. It's like that immediate high, and it's not totally focused on my connection with my source or my higher self. It's more external. I say, the sassy glasses, that's external, but that came from an internal place. Whereas before, it would be, I went out and bought myself a car 2 years ago that I had no business buying, didn't have the money for it, and ended up having to give it back, and having another repossession on my credit. Like I was just like, when it's ego, it's chaos. And it'll last for a little bit and you're feeling good, but it's not long lasting. So, like, my connection every day, that's my intention. I have to come from a place of my higher power. Otherwise, I'm experiencing a lot of down the spiral moments, like we say, or low vibes, and it feels really yucky when I'm down there.
Yeah, it does. It does. I
Mhm.
agree. And not to say that it doesn't still happen, you guys. So,
Oh
because it
yeah.
does, and if anyone's curious, we just talked about the fact that, you came from a rocky marriage and whatnot, and some things transpired. Where are things sitting right now?
Ah, well, there was two separate things. So I had been married, and then I got divorced, and then I met my daughter's father, and we had a baby. So it was just total chaos. And where I am now is I've totally forgiven myself for the marriage. Have such appreciation for my ex-husband, and like what I've learned in that relationship, which was huge. I mean, I
Yeah.
cried like months and months and months. I had to get a restraining order against them, like total victim mode stuff. And then with my daughter's father, I always wanted to be in a place of co-parenting, us still being good friends, not having a lot of drama, because it could go into like the custody dispute and the child support and being in and out of court all day, and I was like, not having any of that. And either is he. We're on the same page. We have agreements. He was down here for Thanksgiving. We got to hang out with friends. So that's really 1000% only because of Taya. I can honestly say it would not have looked like that if I hadn't gone through boot camp.
I can totally see that. I could see that because you learned how to express yourself and you've been learning what your needs are.
Mhm.
So, the detuning of the transgressors is probably the most important part of Taya, and it's the
Mhm.
most important practice that we can all have. And in my life, I'll just share what detuning a transgressor looked like for me was going back to my childhood and detuning my any abuses. So, and I know I can you always know when you're cut from the same cloth.
Mhm.
So, when you've got sexual abuse and you have emotional abuse and you grow up around codependency, alcoholism, all of those things,
Mhm.
they create these behavior patterns. Also create these belief systems. And unfortunately, fortunately, everyone's doing the best they can with what they've got. But what it does is it brings us into a space of not knowing how to address our own needs, values, our wants, desires, or anything else because we've turned into codependent ninnies who are only going to be concerned. But no, I have to make sure the rest of the planet is good first
Yeah.
because, and I'm a big martyr too. And I'm going to do, don't you see? Don't, if it sounds familiar,
Oh, so much, so
just
much.
right. So we
Yeah.
had to but we had to detune that. That was the thing. It was like, aha, I'm forgiveness is one thing, but we're going to talk. This is supercharged forgiveness on a level that you can only experience if you go through this process through TYA. And this is years of me going through therapy, blah blah blah, taking psychology in school, in college, all of those things. No, you have to detune it. You have to start shifting your perspective of and appreciating what that
Mm.
person meant to you in your life rather than what they did to you, what they meant for you. So what did your detuning process look like with your transgressors?
Oh, gosh, I really could talk about this stuff all day. I love it. So, for me, when I got to TYA, what resonated with me the most was I definitely was on board with knowing that I picked my family, that I picked the experiences that I had. My big thing was why. And I feel like the detuning process was like not looking at the why so much as looking at what the emotion was, what the experience was, and how can I find gratitude in it. And then the why came after that. So one of the huge ones that I hadn't even thought about was my dad's father, someone that I had to detune because he looked, or how I perceived it at the time, is he looked at us as like a burden. Like he did not want to have grandchildren. He already had his set favorite grandchildren. We weren't it. Whenever he came to babysit us, it was just like sit down and be quiet and shut up. And, not taking a look at the fact for me that he lost his wife early. She had severe mental health and committed suicide. He turned to alcohol. He had post traumatic stress disorder from being in the military. And like just like feeling the love, that I had never felt. He's already passed on, but it was like being able to connect with him in that realm and just say, like, I get it and I love you. And I'm thankful for the awareness that I've gotten out of the detuning process.
I love that. Okay. It's really so what I just heard you talk about and everybody, this is a practice, okay? This is a practice that you do. It's
Mm,
called getting really curious about what's real for another human being.
mm,
What's really real for them? What's real for their experience? You see, because if you can start seeing from the eyes of another, if you
mm,
can see from the eyes of source with love, it changes things because when we're little we see them, right? We're like, we look at them and we have this perception that becomes part of our imprinted behavior system and our perspectives. So what we're saying here today is that you have the choice to shift your perspectives. You have a choice to detune the very things that you think destroyed you. You can actually turn
mm,
this around for your good because it was always meant for your good. You were just taught differently, you see. So, and I love this practice because this is my favorite part of Taya, to detune.
mhm,
Now, how does that transfer though? Okay, because we all know, like, okay, when you're dealing with PTSD and you're dealing with trauma, I actually use brain entrainment, NLP, some EFT, TIA. There's a lot of trauma. I mean, I'm constantly going through, I've got healers who will come in and work with me. This
mhm.
is an ongoing process. I'm not going to ever say that it's not because it is. It
Right.
doesn't stop. I practice many, many, many spiritual practices, and it just right. I,
Mhm,
so when we transfer the modalities that we use to today, and we've got, because let's face it, there's a lot of people out there right now who are just like up in arms over what's happening in the world,
mm.
up in arms over, oh my God, they're going to shut us down again. Oh, geez, oh no. No, this is where these tools come in. So what do you do today to not go down your spiral into complete misery when we have a lot of stuff that's real that's happening, but how are you handling it?
Oh gosh, going with the flow would be the short answer. But when we did go into shutdown mode, and I was living with my friends, our job went remote. So like that was something that I had wanted to align with getting a remote position, and just kind of burying my head in the sand, as my brothers will call it, but I just choose not to be in the low vibe of stuff
Yeah.
and fear and anxiety, because it can take me down, and I don't want to be there. And I have better things I want to focus on, having fun creating and enjoying the sun. So like, I moved to the beach because if we go into another shutdown, I can always walk to the water, and the water is so relaxing for me. And moving to the beach was a huge, like, reward, I would say, of doing the work of TYA. So every day it is a practice, every day. And
Oh
like
my
you
God.
said, using all of the modalities. So I don't know. Keeping that vibe high is like where it's at. And appreciating the low. I've definitely gotten to a place of appreciating the low, because I used to fear it so much and be like, I'm doing all this work. Why am I down my spiral? And it's like, because that's just the ebb and flow of life. Like appreciating the ride, enjoying the ride, riding the wave, watching the tide change, come in and out. There's so many analogies that I've implemented in my life as a result of that.
I love this. Okay, so you really talked about something that's probably the easiest thing for any of you all to do. Go find something in nature to get back to center with. And it's super important. I got to tell you, the first run of shutdowns, I was up north.
Mm-hmm.
Then I had the opportunity to finally rent my own home again, which was, I mean, like, oh, right? Just a big, big
Such a good
thing.
feeling. I know. I know.
When you don't have your own home, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
and I was so thrilled and so excited,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm 2 miles from the beach because that's what I love. One of the things that this whole experience has taught me even more so is that to really go deep into what I love and appreciate, but mostly about the people that I love and appreciate, you know, because that's where it's at. You're what's important, our children, our animal, anything living, breathing, that is what's important. I'm curious if anybody's having any issues out there right now with any of the things going on in their life. Are you struggling? Do you want to ask Nicole or I how to detune something that you've got going on right now? Because I love to give tips and tools. I love to do this. It is one of my favorite things to do. So,
Mm-hmm.
what is your practice when you get up in the day, when
Mm-hmm.
before anybody's up? Do you have any special practices that you start when you first get up to set the mode for the day?
Yeah. So my daughter, she's 2.5. Her name is Leah, and she's my best friend. And she sleeps in my bed. So I'll just throw it out there. So I don't always get like individual alone time. But when she's sleeping, when I'm laying in bed, I just take a deep breath and I say thank you. And then I think of my intention. What do I want to experience in the day? And I can't always do like a guided meditation, and that would jam me up, because I'm like, oh, if I can't do it this way, then it's not gonna work. So I had to identify what still is going to connect me with source, and even if it doesn't look the way that I want it to look. So focusing on my breath connects me, and then getting up and making myself a cup of coffee and just taking a few deep breaths. I love that feeling of coffee, the smell of coffee, just knowing that my day has started gets me excited. And just really being clear on my intention, because I can go into autopilot so quick, and I can stay in autopilot for days. And that's DTS. So it's like just that awareness of what can I do to not fall into autopilot today.
And explain what autopilot, I mean, we all know what an autopilot is, but what does that actually look like?
For me, it's just total reaction mode. Like, I am not responding to my vibe. I'm reacting to everything that's around me. So I'm not co-creating. I am feeling like a little bit of that victim mode, like, oh, I got to do this, this, and this today, take my daughter to school, get back to do work, of all of these files still to take care of. Like if I go into that mode of like this, and this, it's like autopilot, and then I'm just reacting, and then I'm not thinking. And the next thing I know, I have like a million bills and easy passes because I'm not paying attention to tolls when I'm driving. Like, oh, and then you just like when the thing comes in the mail, I was like, I was an autopilot. I have to be more intentional when I'm on the road. I don't know if that makes
Hot diggity damn. I love you. I love you. See,
Thank
because
you.
when you go to autopilot, you get fined.
I do.
Yes. Oh,
The universe finds a really money is my way of waking me up. So
yes. Yeah, I love that. You guys, anybody else out there go down that spiral and get fined? Ah,
yes.
beautiful, beautiful. So T-Bird says, it was awesome for me. She loving the shutdown. I realized I needed to slow down and enjoy my family and a beautiful life. We live in the forest on 12 acres. Yeah, that's not horrible.
Mm,
Not at all.
yeah.
I love. I meditate in the morning and see what I want to accomplish in the day. And our friend Nick says intention so important. It creates the day's vibe. Love it. Right on. Spark that G vibe, Nicholas. Boom. Gratitude vibration always. And look who we have here.
Hi, Carrie.
Hi, Carrie. I love you both so much. The personal connection with Source is life changing. TYA tools teach you how. Thank you for sharing your stories. You are welcome. And I love this. Okay, so it's true. Trust your abundance. The streamofdavid.com. Please go and book a discovery session with David. Just say Debbie sent you. You get an extra hour with him, and that's always rad. And I love that. Just let me tell you all where I met David really quickly. I had a Mystic Mixer in Palm Springs, and in walks this cool dude, right? Very well dressed, very handsome at that. Extremely. I'm like, oh, he's hot. Yes,
Yeah.
David. Yes, David. That is what I said. I keep. Then I find out then we start talking and he channels and all this, and I'm like, oh my god, he's just like I'm just like his energy is so super great when you're yeah, believe me, in person, it's even more freaking awesome. And then, I'm looking at him and I'm like, why are all the hot men gay? Why, David? Why? Shit.
What I thought was
Just
interesting
saying.
about seeing him was that he reminded me physically of my ex-husband. So that helped me a lot.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's
Yeah.
good.
Mhm.
Yeah. I actually thought it was quite humorous because seriously, his birthday is the day after Josie Herndon, who does Drama to Dharma and has Recovery View, and who's also one of my best friends. You know,
Mm.
I mean, so like his birthday's the day after, and I'm like, okay, and you both channel, and and he's has over the years I love him with everything in me. He's just so wonderful. He's just a great person. So, anyway,
Right.
all right, we're going to talk about some energy now, some energy healing. T-Bird, you are so cool. You love listening to David too? Yeah, right on. Right on, right on. If you guys missed David Strickle, he was on Wednesday with Matt Gardner. You can go back and check it out. Okay, Nicole.
Yes.
You now we've talked about TYA and about how to detune and all
Mhm.
those great things. But let's talk about what you're getting ready to do with this work here in this world you see, because this is a whole new thing. She's now that she stepped into her power, she's now developing her skills and her things that she's going to be teaching to everybody. And one of the things that you've studied is Reiki. So you're a Reiki master.
Yes. So I always wanted to move down the beach, and I knew I wanted to have a wellness center, and so that hopefully will come. I'm not sure of the timeline with the universe, but this summer I did get to attune two of my good friends for Reiki 1, and every time that I am connected and I give someone a Reiki session, I get intuitive messages. So I started reading people through the Reiki, and they were just loving it. And I always channel from a source of love, like whatever guidance they need, divine guidance, I call it. I'm able to provide that to them. So then that kind of went into one of my friends, her son possibly had cancer. They found a lump. He was only 6 months old, and we weren't in close proximity to give him Reiki. So I was able to give him distance Reiki and channel the message that it was not cancer. I did not see any cancer. He was going to be totally fine. And he was, which is just it for me. It's just I'm still getting used to the fact that I'm able to connect with source and give those messages to people and help them heal. So it's kind of just starting out for me. I love attuning people with Reiki because it's a healing modality. For me, I got into Reiki when my mom died in 2009. And I think that for a long time, I was taking on the mindset that I'm a healer and I have to heal people, especially having a counseling degree. But that's not at all what it's about. And Taya opened that up for me even more. Is you're just helping, you're a guide to whatever the person needs to help heal themselves. And isn't it a beautiful thing to be part of that process with them? So it's kind of all starting to come together, which is really exciting.
I love this. You're a medical intuitive is really what this is. And I already know, I know that because I see that. And I love that that's really definitely a powerful space to be in. And I also just heard you talk about how that we are healing ourselves and that you're a guide and a conduit for the
Mm-hmm.
process of healing. And this is really super duper important. Um so I'm sorry, you know what's so funny? I just want to tell you all, like when my computer goes beep, I just mentioned that. I wish I was that good that I could not scroll. Okay, so as being a medical intuitive, that's a really important job for us because it helps to guide people to knowing maybe which path to start taking. Do I need to go see a doctor? Do I need to see a naturopath? Or whatever the case may be, but really, if they're open and allowing, if you really follow the work of epigenetics, then we know that healing ourselves is very, very possible if
Mm-hmm.
you truly believe it. So, when did you start experiencing the knowingness to be able to, was it with the friend and the child, or is this, I think this is something that came a long time ago. You just weren't really, I think you foo-fooed it.
Oh yeah, it's a lot to take on when you know that you have the ability to read people and but giving Reiki sessions down here this summer opened me up to it more because there was another person I gave Reiki to, and I got a message that she was going to have twins. And she was like, "That's interesting because twins don't run in my family." And I was like, "Well, I see twins coming for you." And she texted me when she was in the doctor's office when she found out that she was having twins. So it's more so like, oh my gosh, trusting it and like being excited to be that person for them. I I don't know. I feel like it's still developing, honestly, for me. And that's why I want to kind of get myself out there to be able to give more distance Reiki and strengthening my ability and helping people and just kind of culminating it into like a spiritual life coaching process too, because it's never one and done, you know. And I knew for me, I had the ability to heal myself by going through TYA. So I cured my anxiety, was able to get off anxiety medication, which was huge. Curing my depression, like almost completely done with that. And just slowly but surely starting to heal myself. I always knew that that was available to me, but being open to it is key.
I'm just loving this. Okay, so now, what I've done here is you can contact Nicole right here. You see this Instagram? You guys see that right there? And book an energy session with her. Please do that. I love this. I did Reiki. I did a couple of different healing modalities. And what they are isn't important. What is important is this: learning to work with energy. So
Mhm.
that's another tool that we can give you guys that's really simple. So let's walk everybody through an energy clearing process that they can all do at home.
Mm. Well, for me, it's clearing the clutter. The physical clutter around me shifts if I'm too cluttered. So I throw out stuff. I try to keep my desk clean. I'm into sage, so I love saging. That just the aromatherapy in itself helps me to feel clear and grounded. Um, Having a cup of coffee. I'm big on smells. A cup of tea. Um, that helps me with my energy and focusing on my breath. Definitely.
Beautiful. So breath is our life force. And I love that because it's the first thing we take when we're born and it's the last thing we take when we leave this earth. It is your chi. So your breath is everything. So I love that you start with breath. It's also the number one biohack if you're learning, if you're like, oh, I gotta change my life. I can't take it anymore. Breathe. Because we don't breathe. We hold it all in. We're not going to breathe when we're in that space. We don't breathe. We hold it. If you're, it's just is that's not getting the oxygen to your cellular system that you need to happen. Along with the fact that if you're in a space where you're not breathing, you're not your thinking's probably stinking. Not a good combination. That right there is a recipe for illness and sickness. Trust me, I know.
Mm-hmm.
So when let's talk about using I know that this isn't necessary, my selenite wand.
Yeah.
No, but I love my selenite wand.
Yes.
I do because I just do. I like being witchy, crafty, and wah, 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 just because it's just a fun thing. But I also love the fact that I do know anything that you have, any intention you give it is what it is. That's
Yes.
how much control we have over everything. So,
Mm-hmm.
one of the clearings that I do is to take that deep breath, but then just imagining starting at the crown chakra. I know a lot of people work from the ground up. I start at the top and I pulled from the star chakra all the way through our crown. And this is just a quick visualization. Just imagine yourself encased in white light. You can throw some pink and some rainbows in there if you're really, really, or sparkles, but
Or
just
gold. I love gold too.
gold sparkles. Yes, let's make it
Mm-hmm.
good. So we just, I mean, just a quick boom. Like, how can I just wash it away real quick, real quick? And literally, that movement of the body moves the energetic body. And if you're intentionally thinking clear, 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 you clear.
Yep.
It is that simple. Try it, everybody. Just try it. But you have to, here's the trick though. It's called gratitude, grateful,
Mm-hmm.
that gratefulness. So in your life, there's been many people that have came in, they've left, whatever.
Yes.
Who would you say that you have some of the top gratitude moments for those people?
Mm. My mom. My mom, she died in 2009, but she's with me. She's guided me through this spirituality process. And I can hear her talk to me, which is amazing. So I have so much gratitude for her. My daughter, I manifested her, and she gives me that motivation to be the best version of myself every day. Not just when something's going on, like, okay, now I got to suit up and show up. Like, no, let's just show up every day because that's what we have is just today. Gratitude for myself with being patient with the process because I have this perfectionist person in me. She's highly educated. She needs to be perfect weight, perfect skin, perfect hair. And life is just not perfect. I'm blessing the imperfection of it. And gratitude for everybody really that I come across. I've gotten to a place in my life that I know whoever shows up in my life is teaching me something and I've manifested them in some way. And that's become really fun for me. So like just gratitude in general, the wow of now, I like to say.
Oh, yay. Okay, so you
Yeah.
guys type that one in the chat. The wow of now. I love
Mhm.
this. It is there is that wow of now, because if you don't, you only have the now. The one thing
Mm-hmm.
that, and my heart's with you about your mom.
Mm.
It just grief, though. Grief is our
Mm.
biggest teacher. There's just
Mhm.
it's also the hardest human experience, I think, ever. I don't think there's another one that tops grief.
Mhm.
It's ground zero. It's flatline.
Yeah.
The below grief is your own death. I mean, there
Right.
just is no lower place on the spiral. It
Mm-mm.
is, it's it. So the objective in grief is finding a purpose, finding the gratitude moments in the grief, and they're there. And one of them is the fact that you're appreciating life on life's terms in the
Mm.
now, the
Mhm.
wow of the now, because you've been through, you know that at your very young age, God bless you, that life is just too short, too short.
Mhm.
And you were put here on this earth to do a grand and mighty work. And I'm grateful that you're here doing that, because that is what you're supposed to be doing. You know, the incredible part of this experience for all of us is being able to connect. And one of the things that I know I discovered, I'm here to leave heart prints on the planet. Heart prints for you, heart prints from whoever comes in to my life. It's so definitely not about us, right? It's just about the people that we are able to leave heart prints with. Hey, Nicole,
Mhm.
look, I was thinking about this the other day, and I think, Nick, I talked to you about this. If you're still on, you might remember this. Um, that if it's true that we have a life review after we
Mhm.
croak, and I haven't
Oh
croaked
yeah.
yet. Yeah, and I haven't croaked yet, but I heard from all these books and these other places, and spirituality has gone wild, so I do listen to some crazy stuff.
Me too.
I love that.
Me
But
too.
if that's true, why can't we start our life review now? Why do we need to wait till we croak to see how we're affecting other people?
Yes.
I don't.
Yes.
And what do you want that life review to look like?
I know.
We're I realize we're gonna. We can have that understanding here now. We can have that empathy here now. We can treat people with beautiful kindness now.
Mm.
We can step out of our ego and respond to them from a source of love now,
Mhm.
rather than waiting for some light. Now I realize everything has its purpose, and those experiences that, okay, weren't all so great, and maybe I kind of acted like a you know what
Right.
many times. I am almost 53. I've had many. They were for a reason. Okay, they were for the growth of of both souls, and I do know that.
Mm.
But why not go with intention to live in a higher state of being from a space of source? Really, as we look at each other, and then we intentionally think, how can I leave a heart print with that person today?
Mhm.
To the point, if you practice this, and I know this, if you keep practicing that what happens is all of a sudden you're leaving heart prints, and you just realize, oh my gosh, I'm just leaving heart prints. And we start usually with just smiling people at the store, but it really comes down
Mhm.
into reminding each other of our greatness, and that is why that I believe that we are all here. So with that said, what do you want, what impact, if today were your last day, Nicole,
Mm.
this was it,
Mhm.
what today, for real, are you going
Mhm.
to do differently? And me, this is all for all of us, guys. I'm going to answer this. Everybody, what would you do differently today? What little change would you make? Not something extreme, but what would you bring your attention to?
Mm. For me, it would be respond before I react, and how can I make it light? Even if it's like a light response or actually like a light in that darkness of the moment, just respond with light.
I love this. So just respond with love. And it's really that simple, guys. It's not, if today were my last day, well, I would probably play my music a little bit more. I would probably expand a little bit more. you know. But I would probably go to the beach today and smell
Mm,
the ocean water.
yes.
And I would probably, there's many, many things that, like, so now I need to do that today, guys. Do you understand? I need to now go to the ocean today and I need to smell the water because if today were my last day, what would I do? That's what I would
Mhm,
do. I would still show up and do the meetings I've got in front of me today because I love that. Even if it were my last day, I I love because we're creating right now. We're creating.
mhm.
T-Bird would dance. T-Bird would dance and I would dance, but I love the but response is the key to it all because when you're responding, you're coming from your frontal cortex and your mind and heart coherence versus back
Mhm,
here in your reptilian brain that is literally that's the ego and that's always edging God out. So I loved that you
mhm,
talk about response. And then
mhm.
let's look at this. What would I do for my last day? Love myself up more because that impacts the field. Pow!
Ooh, I love that. Yes. Yes.
I just got like truth chills on that one.
Oh,
I
yes.
I'm just like over here going, yeah, that's it. That's it. And remembering who really getting into that remembrance and that gratefulness. There's a state of being and gratefulness that is unlike any other. It's not just being in gratitude. It is actually a state of being. Anybody ever just sit there think about I Nicole, if you just sit right now and you think about where you were when we started TYA
Mm. I
to
know. I
where we
can
are
feel it.
now,
Mm-hmm. I
then
know. I can't stop smiling. Like it's just a perma grin that's on my face all the time. And I know when I'm connected because I can feel the light, I can glow, and I'm healing. And it's like a beautiful process to be able to be patient with the healing process because I wanted the microwave healing process. And it's not that. Yeah.
the microwave healing process.
I
Hey,
30
I just
seconds. That's good enough for me. Yeah.
cheers, Cuppa
Hmm.
Grata. That's all it's gonna take. Mm,
I know.
I love this, Lisa. And then look at this. See, love. Lisa, yes, love myself
Yes.
more and forgive myself fully. Yes,
Fully. Fully.
if today were my last day, I love this. Everybody, this is how you get into alignment.
Yeah.
Yes, I love that. And right now, all of us can understand this because we are living in the times of a freaking pandemic. How rad is this?
Yeah.
I mean, I know I sound crazy, but look, this is the biggest opportunity we've all ever had to finally do something that we're here to do. This is it. That very thing that you've put off because you don't have time to do it. Now the time is to do it. Do it. Like to go take TYA Bootcamp and go to the streamofdavid.com and say, hey, I just saw Nicole and Debbie G and oh my God, I have to talk to you, David, because I've got to get this.
Yeah.
Promise you.
Connection.
Yeah.
That connection that you mentioned before is the biggest thing that Taya has brought me. Connecting with others who are high vibing, connecting with myself. And then that just creates more of the experience of the connection that I've always craved.
About about when it's perfect. It's perfect.
Yeah. It's
Wow.
beautiful.
That's it right there.
Hmm.
So really it's I think if any message could be given today that if anybody could really hear that one thing, I hope that you just heard it. But it seems to be that the census is that if today were our last day that we would love ourselves more. So why not just pretend that we're going to step into that space today and love ourselves a little bit more,
A
care
lot.
about ourselves
Hmm.
a lot more. We're going to do it a lot more. And we're going to
Hmm.
hit up Nicole Henry Instagram.
Yes, I would love to connect with you. I would love it.
Well, I would love you too. And she's going to be back on Spirituality Gone Wild as she is honing her practices and whatnot. And in fact, I'm going to talk about Spirituality Gone Wild for just a second. Hey, Safi! Saf is from the UK. He's one of our beautiful co-creators. A brilliant practice, right, Cheryl? Totally. So, Spirituality Gone Wild, you guys, has been around for almost 4 years, and we decided to take a couple big leaps right now. One was to open our Untamed membership for $22, and what you get are all of our courses we've got back there. Emotional hygiene, emotional intelligence. What's your gig? Are you going after recovery? You going after? You want to take a deep dive into TJ Woodward's work or Saf Buxey's work or anybody else that's out there that David Strickle's work? Where do you want to do? And this gives you access to getting to those. Not TYA Bootcamp, but it gives you some wonderful, wonderful tools of TYA, so you can get a little tasty taste. We give you a little smidgen. Taste that. But it's all there, $22. Go to spiritualitygonewild.com and you can join our Untamed Club and get access to our 25 glorious co-creators, the workshops we have. Joan of Angels is doing a workshop coming up here. She's doing a 5-day challenge. And Joan was the original Miracle Makers Club. She is Reverend Dr. Joan Hangarter now. And dude, like, this is going to be crazy. I've known Joan for years. I know what she's capable of doing and what she manifests, and this is going to be exciting. So I cannot wait. So everybody, please go join our Untamed Club. Join now because it's rad. That's why. Also, we're going to Roku, Apple TV on 1/1/21. How do you like that?
Is very nice.
There's something about source. When source wants something or the universe wants something, there's just no stopping source. And what happened is that I was putting it on hold. Like, okay, we'll go to TV, we'll go to that platform later. I got too much to do over here, right? I don't have time for that. And so then along came Gino with Hamilton Radio saying, "Oh no, it's time." And I'm like, And one thing leads to another, and now it's a whole other discussion. So what I can say is that if you go with what your gut's telling you and you say the sacred yes and you go with your heart and you follow source, even when it looks crazy, do that. Do that. And join our Untamed Club so that you can get access to people like Nicole, people like myself, or anyone else that you've seen on Spirituality Gone Wild that you really want to get some time with, because we have live workshops and all kinds of great stuff that are included in our club, which is like the coolest thing ever. Oh my God, I have these guiding light bracelets. They glow in the dark.
Nice.
I am having a fit over these. They glow in the dark. Those are the kind of things. Oh, this club is the coolest, dude. Like, I think it's the first time you've heard about it too.
It is. And I love all of the resources because it just keeps me in the vibe and the flow of it all. So I'm all about it. I'm going to take it. I'm going to jump on that train.
I love that. It's actually really awesome because we're all our own life scientists. And as we are creating alchemy in our life, turning the lead It's the lead of the ego and shifting that to the gold of the spirit, becoming a true life alchemist. You're building your own spiritual practice by doing tools that you use with TYA, by doing the tools that you find in other places. Like I said, I love many things, brain entrainment, NLP. But what happens is we develop our own specific spiritual practice that's for us, because one size doesn't fit all. And what I've discovered is I personally think getting your anchor in and hooking in a strong spiritual practice like TYA Bootcamp, and then having these other things. I had done a lot of practices before, then I did that, anchored in a lot more, and then now I'm anchoring even in more. And honestly, it's like I just sit here going, okay, what am I going to do next? What am I going to do next? I want to go learn something new. I'm thinking heart math. Like, I think I want to do heart math because I really love heart math. Have you seen that?
No, but I love that you want to do it. That's the whole key.
Thank you.
Yes.
So what's next? And what's next for you is to book some online healing energy sessions. So that's what you do, you guys. You go right here, book with Nicole, please book with Nicole because she's going to be back when she has her website up and she has
Yeah.
her medical intuitive sessions ready. So
Mhm.
watch for that to come. And everyone out there, who are you grateful for today? Go forward today and have positive momentum. Look for the gratitude moments. Write them down because you can do that. You could actually write them down and be like, wow. And then look back later and go, oh, wow. You know,
Mhm.
do something for yourself today because you deserve to do something for yourself today. And Nicole, I appreciate you being here.
I appreciate being here. Such an amazing way to start the day. I love it.
And I love that you started the day with me. Happy Friday to
Woo! Yay!
everybody. Hold that vibration today. Wind your vibe. Spark that G vibe. It's your gratitude vibration. Y'all know what I mean.